Hi everyone, Daniel here. So today I have something new. We have a new 2018 Kawasaki Teryx LE, and it does not have a winch on it, but I'm going to install one. So I went over to Harbor Freight and ended up picking up a Badlands winch. It's a 3,500 pound Badlands winch. So I'm going to unbox it and I'm going to show you the installation that I'm doing on this. I should probably show you, end up showing you a video of kind of a walk around on the Teryx as well, or the Teryx as well. So anyway, stay tuned and we'll start unboxing. As the name implies, this is a 3,500 pound Badlands winch. It does come with a free shackle, so that's very important that you get the free shackle. It has the wired version, the wired remote, and it also has one for the handlebar. Although I do not have a handlebar on here. There are handlebars, but I'm not going to install that. But I might find if this switch can come apart, see if I can mount it into the dash. That's really my ultimate goal, is to see if I can mount it in the dash. So I've already cheated and opened up the box, so I have that already done. Directions, and then we have, let's see if I can get this out. That, which is backing material. We have the winch. You see the winch there. I'm going to try to get this guy out first. Not as heavy as the other one I installed on the Jeep, but it is, it's kind of nice to really pull the bag off of it. Toss that over there. Clean that up later, or get yelled at for not cleaning it up. So with that, I had assumed that the bolt pattern fits for the front of the Teryx. It does have mounting points already installed for it, so I will show you that here in a moment. So there is that, and then we have another mounting plate. Maybe it's an adapter plate, I do not know. This is the wired remote. Show you that. Wired remote looks pretty common, in out, that's all you gotta do. So it's fairly straightforward. I'm gonna put this over here. This is a wiring harness, which looks to be for the a mounting location. So you can run it and mount it. This is the connector piece that goes into this, and I would assume that also has one for this guy, which is a handlebar mount. So this is a handlebar mount. Don't know if that switch will work. We'll have to see. I don't know if it'll mount like that. It's a different connector also, so that is a little bit different. We'll figure that out. It's things to do. Comes with your ground cable, comes with a fair lead as well. Fair lead, I guess. Bunch of hardware, which is good. Yellow cable, which assuming it's one of the control cables. And blue cable, interesting. And red, which I know what red goes for. Red, oh, well, we get the circuit breaker embedded and sealed, very nice. I like that. So I'll see how good of a seal that has on there, and a bunch of boots. We'll leave those in the bag. These are boots that'll go over these to protect them, provide a little bit of water resistance, or resistance at best. And then the flag, like I've said before, very important. And then there is a shackle, fancy little shackle. I'll leave that over here, and then the hook that goes for it. Looks like it is powder coated, which is kind of nice, but that looks good. I think everything's nice on it. So that is the unboxing. So, and I don't know what this is. Let's see what this is. This looks like breakers or relay system. Yep. Okay. Cool. So very nice. I'm gonna have to find a spot to mount that under the. It's color coded, so you have blue, yellow, red, and black. So that makes it dummy proof, or attempts to make it dummy proof. We'll see if we can defeat it. Anyway, that is all that's in the box. So it looks good. It looks like it has everything and the directions as well. So I'll look into it, and then we'll go from there. So this is the front of the Teryx, and this is the mounting location. Some little bogey or something there. So there are mounting holes here. You can see. There's some mounting holes here. I don't know how well it shows up. There's one there, there's one over here, here, and then there's two in the center. I do know there's a skid plate underneath that does need to be removed. Just watched a couple videos. That'll need to be removed. And so what I'll probably end up doing is routing the electrical cables directly up underneath here and through there. And then I'll be able to gain access up underneath This is the, underneath here is the hood, and you can be able to get to some. Just do 2 pins, 1 pin there, 1 pin there, you quarter turns, and you pull them off. And it is it's a painted hood. Kind of interesting. I thought it'd be solid all the way through, but it is painted. So I have to be careful of, you know, branches and things like that. But that's really pretty much all there is to it. So I've just put this in here to dry fit it. For this Teryx, there are 2 underneath here. There's one 10 millimeter on this side, and then there's one on that side. As far as I can tell, that's all I can see. Underneath there, you'll see them too. Both of those right there. Those have to be removed. That's the skid plate to protect the, I guess, the underbolts, the bolts that, you know, connect the winch. So all I've done is I've sat this here. This is where the fair lead attaches to. This is a plate that came in the kit. This is the winch in and of itself. What I've done is I will have to do some drilling. The holes that are here do not fit this. It probably matches up to, you know, something that, you know, Kawasaki is, you know, deemed to be, you know, common with what they would like to have on there, maybe a Warren winch or something like that. So no biggie. We'll have to do some, you know, drilling. What I'll probably do is just make it match this whole pattern, and then have the bolt come all the way through the bottom, through this plate, securing the plate to the winch, and just use it to cinch, to be a compression fit for this plate against between the winch and the bottom plate here. So with doing so, I've taken this plate and I've taken it and felt all the way in the back, so it lines up with the back of this. You can't see real well because everything's dark, but come around this side right here. I'm just making that plate, the edge of that plate, come back with the edge of the plate that's part of the side by side. The only thing I would be careful of is make sure that when you do this is for the dry fit, is make sure you get some clearance through here for your electrical connection so you don't have a short or anything. And I'm also thinking, if there ever was an accident and I bent this, is there any way that this could bend in and touch this? And you know, if I ever hit a tree or something, or bumped into a tree and just bent it back, would it basically create a short between here? It gives me about, I'd say, maybe about a ½ inch of clearance there, as you can see. But it does have a support rod, as you see, that goes through there. So I feel pretty comfortable. That's not going to get bent back. I might bend out these outer pieces here that kind of come out. They're kind of supportive of this under tube, but unlikely that I'll bend it this far down. So I feel comfortable with about a ½ inch of clearance there. And there's one that's basically 180 degrees on the other side of that, and it's clear as well, as you can see. There's nothing back here. It does give me access, easy access to the battery. I don't know if you see it in there, the battery's right there. So I will do, that'll be my positive terminal. And for my negative terminal, it comes up and it connects right here. So I might make a connection here because this is an easy connection point. I can just, you know, tie right into this. And one thing, good point is there's also a Phillips head on here. So if you wanted to, you could use a Phillips head. But since I've already got my, my socket down here, I'm gonna use this. So what I will is I will flip it like that and center it. Wise man would center it first. Cool. All right, so I'm gonna come and get a center punch. I'm gonna go find my drill bits, and I'm gonna get a center punch. I'm gonna drill these 4 out there. So what I will do is I will drop the lock washer in lieu of using Loctite. We'll see how that works. It's a blue Loctite. You can remove it. It's not the high strength stuff. You just remove it with a bow torch. So I'm going to use this with a flat washer underneath. That should be. So the next thing I need to do is mount this box right here. I'm probably going to end up mounting it here. I looked around anywhere that made sense in here to do it. This is a pretty nice spot to do it in, but the problem is I'm going to have to take this whole cowling off, which involves me removing the windshield and this cowling piece. So that's a major pain, so I'm not going to do that, which I think I can probably get away with doing it here. which will probably provide a little bit more protection against spray or anything that would come up through here from anything in the wheel well like that, which would be good for these connections. So I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna put some the silicone grease on there, dielectric grease, whatever they want to call it, silicone grease. We'll put that on there, but I'm not going to use the hardware. This came with it. The unfortunate part is this does not go through this along with that bar. So unfortunately, what I do have is I do have some self-tapping hardware, so I'm going to use the self-tappers, and that will give me a good, good point to mark where it needs to go. Not really planning on trying to do the drilling with a Phillips head screwdriver. The Phillips head there. And it just scuffs it because I have with the little bit there, the chisel bit. I still prefer to drill a little bit of a pilot hole, just so that it doesn't want to walk around on me, and it makes it a little cleaner installation. You can just drill directly with the part on there. I prefer to drill it so it kind of does its own tapping, taps all the way down through there, and then all I have to do is a screwdriver. It'd be very easy to put it back in. Thing about this is I can get it started. It is raised, so there is a tie wrap through here for this factory connector. So I'm just straddling that factory connector, so I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to worry about it being in the way. Winch installed. Have the electrical box installed. So at this point, I need to run the blue and the yellow up through the frame, back up there. I also have the black and the red one as well. Both of those are going to be very short runs, but they gave you a lot of cable, which is good, but they'll be fairly short runs. With that being said, let's get into it. The main thing I also want to point out is most of this stuff, none of this comes with directions. It doesn't tell you what bolt to use where. It's just, most people should be, have enough experience putting this stuff together that they know the shorter bolt needs to go here, longer bolts need to go here. There's not a lot of directions on this. I was surprised how little directions there are. It's mainly safety and things like that. So with that being said, I'm going to start into it. And like I said, putting in the dielectric grease on all these contacts so they don't have to worry about them. And I need to not forget the boots, so I'm going to go get those right now. So on to wiring the dash. So this is the part that came for to hook up to. It wasn't that. It was actually this big whole module here. This was to go on the handlebars of an ATV, or or some kind of grab bar inside of here. But once I took the connector apart, or took out this outer housing, takes just a couple screws and you take it apart. Notice that it's not the greatest in the world in terms of the connector. So I went out to Advanced Auto and I bought this connector. I mean, I was surprised they actually had this in stock. It's a momentary in two position momentary with a return to 0. So the good thing I like about this, so I'll show you, is these are the lights that came on it. And they look exactly the same. So it'll be a nice little fit and finish. And so I went ahead and pulled the dash off. It's easy enough. They're just there's little clips. I think about 8 of them through here. And this one did break. It wasn't my fault, but it did pop. Well, it was my fault. I pulled it off so it broke. And then through there, all the way across there. And so in the process of doing that, I have this, and it has these little panels here for expansion. So I'm just gonna mount it right there like that, without a label. And easy enough, I was able to take the razor blade and go through here on these pieces and just cut straight, push straight down on it, and it was able to cut right into it. So I was able to push a little pressure, and it just slices right into it. So I'm going to continue doing that, let you guys watch what I'm doing, and then pop in the connector on this guy. Nice. Slides right in, just as easy as you please. Very nice. Glad they did that. That makes it so nice. So the next thing I'm going to do is, so I want to just take this here. I'm going to make these connections here. It's a Same thing here. It's a momentary up and down and return to 0. And it's the same thing here, and I'm going to do that. I've read the directions here. These pins are independent from these pins, so you just need to stack them on the same side. So what I'm going to use is I've had these for a little while, so these are basically insulated spade connectors. So it'll be nice. It'll be exactly what we need for this. What I'm going to do is wrong tool for the job. I know. Red is the center. Blue is the out. Snip a little bit so I can remember. Actually, I do have the right tool. Never mind. There's 3 guys there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this jacket back a little bit through here. See here. Pull this jacket back. I'm going to get up close. I'm just going to strip this jacket back a little bit further so I can get in the stripper a little easier, and then they're not bunched up together. Alright, so compare the two, and what is up? That's out, which I want it to be the same, so blue is on top, like that. Red was in the center, and black was on the bottom. And just like that, I replaced that switch with a much nicer switch. I'll put this down here for a moment. Looking at this, I was going to drill a hole. One thing I've noticed was I was going to drill a hole, which you probably can't see. Let me do this. You can see the back contrast. I was going to drill a hole. This is a bad design. I was going to drill a hole, and everything is supposedly, if you drill a hole with this, it looks kind of like this. There's 2 mount holes here, and then this large diameter here, you drill 1 hole, everything should pass through. However, they molded in this Y. So unfortunately, this diameter and this diameter are the same size. So when you get to the Y, you can't pass it through. So it's a pretty poor design. So I think I'm just going to have this secured up underneath the hood, and then I'll be able to get to it that way. But it's because if I go this way, I can't see any daylight. But if I go that way, I can see daylight. So we're going the way I can see daylight, which is right through that hole right there. In theory, I can just pass it straight through. Oops, won't rip off stuff. So hopefully that'll stay. In the end, I end up taking off the fuse panel here. Underneath here is a fuse. It basically says fuses. Underneath here is our fuse block. And what I did is I just put my multimeter on here and found which of these fuses run to 12 volts when you turn the ignition to the on state. So in doing that, I found there's a couple of these. Basically, any of them are labeled accessory. ACC, so this is accessory rear, accessory front. I'm assuming lights for the front, lights for the rear. And then for lamp, I don't know what lamp they're talking about, but anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually grab the one off the rear. I'd rather the tail light go out as opposed to the front light if I ever had an issue. So it's just unlikely it'll happen because this is such a low current draw. We'll grab one of these and we'll crimp this in, and that will provide the be able to have this splice. So there we go. It's everything secured with the boots on it, and like I said, I put all the silicone stuff on all the backside. Everything's connected. I just need to address the cables. The best job, and I'll probably keep coming in here and messing with this and trying to secure it a little better. Got this tie wrap to this frame. Got this one, of course, tie wrapped to this bundle group. And then as you kind of come down through here, went through here, and I've tie wrapped it to the frame there. Tie wrapped that together, so they're all kind of in a bundle. This, best thing I could think to do with this was just to make a loop out of it, and I secured it to the ground wire and the other group of wires. So that should hold. It's got a little free play in there. I'll figure out something better to do with that. It does have 2 mounting holes. Maybe I'll end up at some point mounting it to the frame here, but it might make it a very big pain if you ever change the battery, if this is in the way to keep that out. So I might just try to figure out some way to secure it, maybe to itself, or just to keep it from rattling around. So I think that's pretty much done at this point. So let's go check it out. And I have already put on the hook on the front of that, so we're at that point now. So here we are. We'll put it in the on position, which that would mean, actually let's start in the off position. button doesn't work, winch doesn't work, which is what I want. So little fingers, we have kids running around, so I don't want them killing the battery. Put it in the on position. And that, I can see in the shadow, that's pulling it in as I wanted, and that'll... Hi everyone, hope you enjoyed it. That was how to install the winch onto a, like I said, a 2018 Kawasaki Teryx LE. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe to the channel, give me a like and thumbs up, and we'll get more of these videos out to you. All right, appreciate it. Have a good one.